So welcome to Sunday's competition here at the 2014 NCPA Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez, and we are into the semifinals. 4 teams remain, and they are battling to see who will be crowned the 2014 college champions. So first game is going to be Temple and UConn. Todd, what do you think about these two teams?
Well, I think both these teams have a couple players that are really standing out right now. As we watched Temple play yesterday, Francis Isgro has just been a beast in the snake. He's been getting up in there, stabbing people, shooting players across the field, just doing work. Connor Tluck has been playing really well for UConn, doing the same thing, getting up in the snake, being very productive for his team, getting good team production out of UConn. We've got guys like Mapley, Sheehan, Tluck, Anderson winning a one-on-one yesterday to really help gain some momentum. I mean, I like both these teams right now. I think it's going to be an epic snake battle out here first thing in the morning, and I really can't wait to see what happens.
Todd, correct me if I'm wrong or what you think about this, but Francis Isgro, I felt, probably played that snake as well as it could be played and was my top player for yesterday's competition.
Yeah, absolutely. He was just unstoppable. I mean, point after point after point, he was getting in there, making good decisions, figuring out how to get in consistently and getting lots of kills. Albertini is doing a great job coaching for Temple as well, helping Isgro get up that side and be the most efficient he possibly can.
So here we go on the first point. Temple on your right, UConn on your left. And look for number 16, Francis Isgro, to try to make it in the snake. Isgro loses his back player, and look on the side for UConn right there, now on your screen. There goes Isgro. Isgro crawling into that red zone, trying to get to that 50 snake where he has shots cross field. He's gonna zone up, look for Isgro to get those shots cross field. He gets one, he's gonna chalk up another, there's 2 and 3, look at that. That's exactly what we were just talking about. We saw it all weekend long. Francis Isgro, they let him into the snake, and he gets 3 confirmed kills, Todd, right off the break. Oh, but a major penalty on Temple.
You cannot let Francis Isgro in the snake as he trades out with Connor Tluck. That's going to be a 4-pack for Isgro to start the day off.
Yeah, but Todd, unfortunately, there are no players left for Temple, so you know, Isgro did exactly what Isgro's been doing. He got into the 50 snake, he shot 3 guys cross field, everyone in the center, and then a Tluck had to run him down to get him out of there. He trades with Tluck. That's 4 confirmed kills for him. So really all he needs is any of the other 4 guys to just shoot 1 guy and stay alive, and they'll be fine. But no, Temple gets a penalty, and it looks like 1 minute and 35 seconds left on that penalty.
Yeah, if you're Temple, you have got to be upset right now. Coming out first game, you get your killer into the snake. He goes to work, gets you 4 kills, and then 1 guy behind him gets a major, and everybody dies. Very unfortunate for Temple early. And, you know, you see here's the Temple player in that tall tower in the middle. Referee's going to run in, find the hit on him, and call the major. And here's Isgro after shooting 3 bodies, just waits for Tluck to come, trades out with him. And then looking behind, there's nobody left. There's Bielman. Bielman's been doing a great job. Number 15 playing behind Francis Isgro, giving Isgro all the support that he needs, and then filling in as soon as Isgro gets in and gets off the field. Bielman's been doing great, just like Sheehan for UConn. After Tluck gets up there, gets in the snake, Sheehan's been a very solid 2 for UConn this whole event, making moves across the field, making fills, shooting on the break. But, you know, right now, Francis Isgro 1, Connor Tluck 0.
Hey,
but the score is still 0-0
yeah, still
on both
no
sides.
Score. All 5 bodies for both teams ended up getting taken out. And remember, that major penalty is still going to stay on the board for Temple's. Major penalties stay on the board regardless of whether or not you win or lose the point. But the thing is, Todd, you know, you were kind of talking a little bit about this. Paintball is not just about how good your front players are. That's a big part of it, but that is not the complete picture of the game. You have to have your 2s, you have to have your 3s, your mid and back players. Those are the 2nd and 3rd guys to go on the attack. So you have your first guys, those are the front players, the ones. They run up, they start attacking, and if they can't get it done, or maybe they need some help, that's where the mid, back, the 2s and the 3s, that's where they come in. So here we go on the breakout. Let's see if these teams can finally put a point on the board here. UConn on the top, Temple on the bottom. And then Temple is going to be on your right-hand side. Let's see if Isgro can make it into the snake again. Oh, that might be another penalty, Todd. No, Temple is losing their back corner bunker on the D side, but no penalty. Saw the ref sprint over there. Thought might. Anytime you see a ref sprint at a player, that sometimes is a penalty. So Isgro gets shot out of his, trying to make a move forward.
Isgro stayed in that back center for a really long time, trying to get a kill and even the bodies up on the break, but UConn didn't come wide on this side of the field. And, oh, 2 UConn players drop off. 2 bodies left alive. This is where Bielman has been playing spectacular for Temple. Alive in that snake side corner. He's been getting out there a lot. Only 2 bodies left alive for Temple. Bielman over here in the snake side corner. They got 1 body over in the small Dorito in the yellow zone. So UConn with the player in that big inset Dorito in the yellow zone. And they got 1 body over here in the snake 1. William Sheehan again, kind of picking.
Nope,
yep.
No one's safe out there, Todd. You just lost a camera right there. As we were looking at the D side action. Now we're in the snake right now. You're looking at UConn shooting inside, and he gets that crossfield shot all weekend long. And then also in Dallas, man, for the PSP, we saw these amazing shots. But, you know, it's high risk versus high reward. When you get into the 50 snake, it's hard to get there, and you can get run down pretty easily if somebody's in front of you. But there are so many shots from there, and that's why it's worth it to try to push and get in there all the time.
So, looks like Temple's going to get their body out of the box. 2 players left alive for UConn. 1 jumps into the 50 Dorito right now. Sheehan's got a good shot right on that box. And looks like he gets shot. So it's going to be a 2-on-1 right now. Sheehan's in the 50 snake. Got another body in that 50 Dorito. Taking on Bielman over here. And here comes Sheehan on the offensive. Comes across into the yellow zone of Temple.
Ooh, Sheena's got to be careful on those head checks. You got to snap that head back.
Oh, looks like Bielman took a bouncer in the side and then shoots Sheehan. And so it's a 1-on-1 right now.
Bielman is just dealing from that pack corner bunker. Sheenan over here went to sleep a little bit, kind of dropped the ball.
Small mental mistake. Referee went in to check Bielman, but the ball had bounced. Sheehan kind of stood up, and Bielman came out and shot him. Always got to be smart. Got to be smart. Got to recognize until you see that ref call him out. Play it safe. You always got to keep your guard up.
You need, hey man, you got to be aware at all times. Even small mental lapses, you can play, and you got to play 100% point.
Yeah,
you know, you have to stay focused the entire time. We're in the semifinals right now. The team that wins this match will be going to play in the finals. That event is going to be going down May 17th, noon Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. So these guys trying to play to represent their team in the championship. Todd, look, is awesome 1-on-1, man.
Yeah, Matty, and I think that's Miles Anderson over there for UConn. Again, the same player that was in that 1-on-1 yesterday in that crucial match that they played to put themselves in this game over here. So Anderson comfortable in this situation. Bielman in a good spot, already even this up.
What's crazy, Todd, is that with 5 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in this game, this is the longest we've seen 2 teams play each other and not score a point on this quick layout.
Yeah, but I mean, that just goes to show, you know, how pretty evenly matched up these 2 teams are right here. You know, early, you know, this is the semifinals. You know, we got the top 4 teams coming at you today. So, you know, both these teams played really well to get to this spot. UConn won a tough one yesterday over Fresno State, you know, who was a tough team that was playing really, really well. So, you know, Anderson won that 1-on-1 versus Michael Boothby, you know, who was just out there balling for Fresno State. But good tactics, good fundamentals for Anderson.
Yeah.
You know, the way that he's played these 2 1-on-1s.
Well, Todd, you know, he really let Boothby run down his paint count. Boothby was heavy gunned up, shooting tons of pods. I mean, look at all the pods. Bielman in the back corner bunker for, yeah, so look at all the pods at the feet of Bielman. Bielman has basically went through most of his paint. And this is the same situation that Miles Anderson was in before. You know, he let the opposing player roll his gun, put him in. He just still maintained his position and didn't let the opposing player make a move where he didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
You know, so tense moments right here. And honestly, much better field position for Miles Anderson because he has a lot A lot bigger bunkers to work with. They have the exact similar bunker type to work with, but Bielman, he's stuck in island in that back side right there. There's not a lot of places for him to go, Todd. Anderson, hey, he's got a ton of bunkers to work with. He could back up, go to the D side. He can move forward, go to those stand-ups in the gray zone. He could also dip back, get that flag, and then try to engage. Because so it's not just about shooting the guy, it's about getting the flag, but it would be really tough for him, Todd, to hang the flag with Bielman in this spot right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to get out of there. We knew that once this became a one-on-one, that if anybody was going to make a move, it was going to be Anderson, because Anderson, like you said, over there on that Dorito side, so many different places for him to go. But, getting into that tall tower, now it's just a good old-fashioned tower-to-tower one-on-one snap shooting contest between Bielman and Anderson. And both these players playing it pretty smart. And it's tough because it's 0-0. If Temple had been able to win that first point, maybe this would be a different situation for Anderson. But because it's still 0-0, and it is still very early in this match as well. I mean, this is only the second point that we've played, but as time ticks away on this half, just under 3 minutes to go now. But in a 0-0 game, if it's going to be a tight matchup, which, when you have two really good teams, you don't want to give away anything. There's no incentive for either of these players to really make a move that could potentially cost them a point.
Well, and also, Todd, I totally agree with you, but when you have two evenly matched teams, you're going to have longer points. Longer points mean less points, and less points means that every single point is crucially important. And so this is a very important point. Let's not make any, jokes about it. This is 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. And, if they click through the first half, that means that whatever team, first of all, you're going to get the momentum. No team's even scored a point yet. And Anderson's been here before. He won a one-on-one yesterday like we were talking about. There's Bielman. Bielman's been playing great for Temple. Isgro's been doing work, and Isgro has been helped out greatly by Bielman. It's like a lineman running back type thing. The back guys, those are the linemen. Your front players, the guys running in the red zone off the break and trying to get there, those are the running backs. So it's very important to have a guy like Bielman support you, which is what Isgro's been able to count on all event long.
Yeah, just about a minute 30 left to go here now. You're exactly right, Maddie. The linemen, they create the holes, they create the openings, that the running backs have to see and get through. You can't hesitate. If you're a running back, you got to see that hole and explode through that hole. Same thing here. Bielman all weekend long been doing a good job of creating space for Isgro. And then when Isgro gets up there and does his job, Bielman comes in, cleans up the mess.
So Anderson and Bielman. There's 1 minute at this point and not a lot of paint left for these guys. I have a feeling, Todd, we're going to be going into halftime here with the score 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for either of these players. Both of these guys have been playing really good, so it's going to be tough for either of them to try and make a move. Only a small Temple about halfway between both of them. So, well, Bielman also has his coach, Albertini, right there, right next to him, too, talking to him.
Temple getting up in their pits, trying to stay fresh. It's tough when you have these incredibly long periods. This is by far the longest point we've seen. Yeah. Nothing else has even come close. It's an 8-minute point.
Yeah, remember, too, that Temple started down a body. Temple started in the box at this point, getting that major right off the get, the first point. So look at Anderson. Anderson going to move over to the pin. See if he can play him a little bit. Yeah, no time left to go. So
yeah, so plays out to a stalemate. They ran out of paint. The point was back and forth up until they got to the one-on-one. So both those guys had, mostly expended their paint before they even got to the one-on-one. So once they got there and you're down low on paint, you know how it goes, Todd. Your head check with your guy. You're seeing how much he's putting paint on. You're like, oh, okay, he's out of paint too. Okay, great. Maybe we'll just play this one to a stale.
Yeah, there's Sheehan right there on the replay. He stands up. He thought he heard the call, but then Bielman shoots him out. So good job there by Bielman to make that a 2-on-1.
So Todd, this is down the action down the D side, and sometimes those balls either that guy was completely inaccurate because that camera's about 30 feet up, so or it had one of those wingers off the bunkers.
Get out, cameraman.
Yeah. So with about 4:20 here to go before the start of the second half, the score 0-0. Temple and UConn played to a complete stalemate in that first half. Wow, what a crazy game, Todd. I mean, I knew these were evenly matched teams. I didn't think the score would be 0-0 heading into the second half.
Yeah, 2 points, 4 confirmed kills for Isgro. Nothing on the board.
Wow. All right, so we'll be back with the second half action here in the semifinals, Temple versus UConn. Who's going to take it? We're going to find out. Stick around.
Being confident in yourself is important. Being confident in your equipment is a must. When you do the hard work of getting to that spot on the field, you must have the confidence to seize the opportunity. My name is Brad McCurley. I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish takes my game to another level. The Empire Axe Pro comes with an extended grip frame and new grip for increased comfort, 8 firing modes with OLED screen, including semi-automatic, ramping, burst, fully automatic, PSP burst, PSP ramping, and Millennium ramping. Empire Relay Regulator ASA with on-off lever, magnetic trigger for smooth firing action, and a carbon fiber Super Freak barrel kit with 5 inserts. More information about this marker is available on the product page at empirepaintball.com.
Welcome back to the National Collegiate Paintball Championships. I'm here with Miles Anderson, just involved in a very long and epic one-on-one match. Still no score in this game. What was going through your head out there?
I was just trying to stay alive. I didn't want them to go into the half going up 1-0. Thought it would be better to run out the clock rather than them going up 1-0, so I just kind of sat put.
We've got a very even matchup right here. Both teams very hungry. What do you think is going to be the key moving forward for you guys?
I think it's the snake. I think Frankie on their team is very good at pushing the snake. I think we need to lock that down. Otherwise, it's going to be a bad day for us.
All right, and you got to go take a breather. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys?
Well, thanks, Amy. Yeah, I haven't seen a half like that. I can't even think of the last time I ever saw a half like that, where we heading in to halftime into the second half with the score at 0-0.
I mean, we did watch that FAU game. You know, it was a second half, but never a first half where there was no points scored. You know, just 1 point for the full 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, that FAU Temple game. I mean, it's funny because you know, it was FAU and Temple, and now here again, it's Temple and UConn. So, you know, FAU going to be coming up next, taking on UCF here in the second semifinal match. But 10 minutes to go, 0-0 game. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, both teams at full strength to start the second half. UConn taking the snake. The teams have switched sides, so UConn is on your right, Temple on your left. Bodies peeling off for Temple. 2 players left alive for them on the snake side, but UConn is the first on the attack. Tluck crawling up to the 50-yard line. And Connor Tluck is now going to try to get that crossfield shot. He's got to be careful. There's a gun on him from that side. And then here comes Isgro. Isgro now in position. And here comes Tluck. Tluck on the attack. And it looks like they're going to trade out. So the snake is now clean for both teams. Though better field position, well, I was going to say better field position for Temple because they have a body over here on the snake side, back corner bunker. Oh, huge move into the snake. I think that was Stengel.
Sheehan
That was
making a
Sheehan.
big move out of that center. Sheehan went up the middle, trying to keep Isgro from getting in that snake. Couldn't do it. Isgro still got in after he traded out with Tluck. Sheehan came and jumped straight over to the 50, but UConn losing a body off the Dorito side. So now 50 snake, 50A, and the inset Dorito in the yellow zone for UConn. Temple, they've got bodies here. Bielman again in that snake side corner. Temple has a body in that center tower.
That was a big move by Sheenan right there because that puts him to position. Yeah, nice job. Temple gets another body peeled off in that center. So here comes UConn. UConn in the driver's seat. They're at the 50-yard line, Snake. And getting that shot down on the sidelines is Sheenan. So UConn is going to put the first point on the board. I mean, we've had 12 minutes of game time elapse. Yeah, as point is conceded by Temple. 8 minutes and 17 seconds remain here in this second half of play. The score is going to be 1-0.
Yeah, good job right there. Good game plan by UConn. You know, as you're going to watch the exchange right here, Tluck and Isgro going to trade out. You know, and like we said, that's really all you can ask for. And then here's Sheehan on the fill. You know, as he went up the center, came across, tried to cut down that snake zone. Couldn't keep Isgro out of there, but then took over the 50 snake and went to work himself. So that's what we're talking about, the excellent play of the twos. And there was Bielman on your screen getting shot down the wire from Sheehan. So good heads-up play by Sheehan. You know, really quick on his fills, really fluid in his movements. You know, playing really well out there for UConn. You know, the duo of Sheehan and Tluck. You know, very exciting taking on the duel of Bielman and Isgro.
Well, with the score 1-0, 8:17 on the clock. Let's check in with Amy Campbell. She's down in the pits.
Guys, you've been talking about how even this matchup is, and you can really sense down here how much both of these teams want it. They've called it a family fight with all the familiarity between the two of them. Connor Tluck said it's going to come down to who makes the best adjustments in this game because they know each other so well. So let's see how they adjust going forward, guys.
Well, adjustments always play a factor in this sport, man, and pretty much every sport. But with paintball, there's so many variables out there. This field is complex. It may seem simple. If this is your first time watching the game, you're like, oh, okay, gray zone, yellow zone, red zone. There's a flag. I get it. But there's so many different looks you can give teams. There's so many different ways you can play this field. Todd, you know, you're if not the best coach, one of the best coaches for sure in the world. How do you go about breaking those game plans down to your players to simplify things for them?
Well, you know, I'm looking right now, like just on that last point, I see Sheehan going up the middle trying to stop my snake guy, Isgro. Well, if I'm Temple's coach, I'm going to send a guy up just to go get Sheehan out of there to help Isgro get in there and do his job, and that is exactly what Temple does. Good call right there as Sheehan gets bounced on the way up, but Temple sends a body up through the middle to get rid of Sheehan.
I don't think he got him, though, Todd. Sheehan's still in there, and he's clean. So I like the aggressive play by Temple. They send Moore up to the center, and then it looks like Sheehan finally getting taken out. So off all that chaos that Moore caused, you know, that's the boxing match of paintball right there, Todd.
That is exactly what I wanted to see.
You throw overhand rights, the team is forced to react to that. Moore makes a big move up the center, causes a ton of chaos. Off that chaos, Isgro gets in the snake. Bodies start dropping for UConn. That was an awesome job by Temple to steal that momentum back.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm saying it, I'm watching Temple do it. Super exciting move right there by Moore. It was awesome. Everybody looked at Moore, and once everybody looked at Moore, everybody forgot about Isgro, and Isgro walked right into the snake. Instead of having to gun battle his way in, he came up, blew Sheehan apart. Moore actually, I think, either Moore or Bielman coming out to the snake side corner, bounced Sheehan on the way up. You saw Sheehan check himself and then slide into that spot. He thought he was golden. Then Moore came across, made that move. But at the same time, while all that chaos was going on, UConn was also getting a major penalty over on the Dorito side. So there is Anderson getting a major and getting a body pulled as Stengel walks off as well. So, you know, good call right there by Temple's coach to get a point on the board and even this up at 1-1.
Wow, what a great game so far. We had the craziness of the first half with that insane 8-minute one-on-one. Not a lot of action in that one-on-one, but but it still is pretty interesting about how that broke down, because you just don't see that very often. But it does speak to this level playing field we're seeing here, these evenly matched teams. You know, we saw a lot of emotion on Isgro when we interviewed him later on in the afternoon after their win yesterday, because there's a lot at stake for Temple. You know, Temple really trying to represent here at the NCPA championships. And look at, we got our eye in the sky right now. You know, again, Todd, I for one welcome and appreciate our robot overlords.
They're gonna take over, Maddie.
It's happening.
Feel it. I'm just kidding. I just saw a preview for that movie.
So here we go. 7:43 to play. It's all tied up at 1. Major penalty on UConn.
Oh, and looks like Temple gonna take advantage of not having that gun up on the break of UConn and run out to the far Dorito side. Moore tries to go up the middle again, makes it, but gets shot. But Isgro into the 50 snake again, gets 1 kill right away. Across the field in that tower.
Isgro's so methodical in there. He knows that shot. He's chalked up so many kills from this position. He might have a shot on the back corner bunker on the D side too, trying to lob one. That's a pretty far shot. So, you know, these guns are real accurate. Be surprised how accurate a paintball gun is, considering, you know, paintball's it's a sphere, and it's not like you're shooting bullets out there, but it is very accurate. These guys have trained long and hard to get here and spent so much time on the grind to try to represent for their universities. And Temple and UConn doing a good job. You know, UConn, long storied history of UConn Huskies, have won a title before. They were a really solid program for a long time, but, you know, kind of fell off a little bit. We're getting the corners, kept getting knocked out of the corners. So this is the first time they made it to the semifinals in a while. Now Isgro on his move.
Oh, it looks like UConn losing 2 more bodies as Connor Tluck gets shot off the snake side and another off the Dorito side.
Here comes Beelman.
Oh, Beelman, I don't know how he didn't know that there was 1 more body in that Dorito side corner. That was a 3-on-1, now a 2-on-1. It's gonna be Isgro over here in the snake, and charging is Nick Frayne. Running, and looks like Frayne's gonna trade out. So, actually no, that was a 4-on-1. Temple still had 1 more body way over there on the Dorito side. So another well-executed power play by Temple, and, you know, still some time. Oh, yeah, still a little bit of time on that major. So 14 seconds looks like still on that clock as Temple takes a 2-1 lead. UConn's gonna have to break out with 4 bodies again. So you got this replay. There goes Beelman, getting a little too over anxious, running towards the flag station. Whoa, there's a guy in the Dorito side corner.
You know, Todd, little sloppy play there. They're up bodies. There's Frayne going to close out the last player. And that's how you do it right there. Frayne, okay, so we just watched how not to do it, and then we watched Frayne show you how it's supposed to be done.
You know, I was talking to Frayne yesterday, and he's like, yeah, I've only been playing tournament paintball for like a year. Could have fooled me.
Yeah, right.
You know, Frayne had some awesome games yesterday. You know, he played really, really well for them. Well, been playing, they played, you know, Woods ball for a while, but, you know, this is only like, you know, he's only played a few paintball tournaments, so.
Yeah, good for him, though, man. Obviously, high level of talent for him, and he must have put a little bit work in that year. Well, let's check in with Amy Campbell. She's down in the pits.
Guys, close match here. Over here in the UConn pit, they're clearly frustrated, not communicating well, starting to yell at each other, confused about the last penalty, who's in the box, how much time is left on the penalty. They're trying to pull it together, but they need to take some breaths over here, guys, if they want to be mentally strong and get back in it.
So here we go, UConn. You know, Amy, that is the exact opposite of what you want to see in a semifinal matchup if you're in the pits. You can't fall apart, start screaming at each other. You know, if somebody needs to get told something specific about how they're playing, okay, that's cool, but you can't start flying out the handle and start to get negative. You can't let that negativity start to seep in and hurt your confidence. So now UConn with the player in the box.
Oh, and Temple goes up the middle. Looks like they lose a body. UConn loses a body, and then UConn loses another body coming out of the box. Temple loses 2 on the break. 1 going up that center. So UConn with 3 bodies now and out of the box. All 3 bodies on the Dorito side. Beelman over here in the snake corner again, but filling across at Cabbage for Barcelos of UConn filling the snake, and on the attack comes UConn. Bielman again alone in that corner, and looks like Spencer Stack is going to come trade out with Bielman. So UConn right there, gonna even this game up.
Yeah, so wait, UConn getting back in it now here. Got ourselves an awesome close matchup between two powerhouse teams here, the NCPA, and looks like the hang is good. And we're just about 5 minutes to play in this incredibly close matchup, all tied up here, 2 apiece. Which, you know, Todd, this is what we thought we were going to see. We thought we were going to see a battle back and forth, and that's exactly what we've gotten so far. There's Bielman on your screen here on the replay, shooting that lane, and gets tapped out, though. And UConn polishing off the last couple players. Bielman has played great, though, for Temple. You have to have those twos, those mid players play well. So it's all tied up 2 apiece, just about 5 minutes left here in our first semifinal matchup. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back here, 2014 NCPA Paintball Championships. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez. We're calling the games for you here today. We got one more semifinal matchup coming up at the conclusion of this game, and then you're going to have to wait to watch to see who wins this championship. It's going to be coming at you May 17th, noon Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. So here we go, 18 seconds for the start of this next point. Todd, who knows, this may be the last point. When it's tied and it's close, you have 2 evenly matched teams, there's not a lot of time left and there's a lot at stake. Sometimes you see long points, so who knows, man, we could watch the final point to find out who goes into that championship game.
Well, UConn's been shooting a lot of people on the break off that Dorito side. Let's see if Temple makes an adjustment. They come inside, don't go wide on the Dorito side, but they finally lose Bielman on the break one time. Isgro may have gotten bounced. Isgro gets bounced on the fill. Connor Tluck gets shot on the break, so there goes the front snake attack for UConn. UConn with 4 bodies alive. Temple with 4 bodies alive, but they just lose one off that Dorito side. But Isgro gets into the 50 snake, see if he can get in there and be effective. He's looking to get his shots across the field. Just nearly misses that UConn player in the can, so the UConn player gets pumped, tries to take off to that Dorito, and he gets shot, so it's now a 3-3 ball game.
Yeah, but better field position right now for Temple as the star for their team. Isgro is in the 50 snake, and he does have good cross-field shots. He's been making these shots all day long, and so the center player's right there. There it goes, one of those shots. Isgro getting his shot cross-field, but he gets picked up, so Isgro gets peeled off. UConn gets a body peeled off. It's 2-on-2 right now.
Trading bodies left and right. Isgro getting that kill in the Dorito corner, making it now just the center tower on both sides, and Temple up in that yellow zone. Temple right next to the A. UConn also has their body in the snake side. Temple still in the gray zone, so 2-on-2 right now. Field position kind of even, you know, as they're matched up in that center. A little bit wider out here on the snake side for UConn, but a little bit farther up the field for Temple. You know, that looks like Robbie Moore again, who's been attacking that center up in that yellow zone. Temple for Temple.
Yeah.
You know, communication very, very important in these situations.
Okay, now creeping up in the center. Here comes Temple getting to that 50. He's going to try to get the drop. Here comes the move through the center. No one's picked him up yet. Jumps over the top, tries to get an angle that way. It doesn't work. He's wrapping around now, trying to get the back. He's still no one looking at him. He's going to get all the way through. Nice job. And amazing run through. That was picture perfect, but it's going to be one-on-one. And it's just Moore. Let's see if Moore can pick him up. He does, and Moore drops the shot in on him. My God, what an amazing point from Temple.
Oh man, it looked like Spencer Stack had the drop on Robbie Moore right there. Excellent move by number 5 at Cabbage for Temple University with that creep. Man, what a bold move by Cabbage.
Yeah, Cabbage, man, what he did was he broke the plane of the 50. He was right by the flag, and you can see, he's advancing, and then as soon as he realizes that gun's not on him, he runs, stabs the player in the back for UConn. Cabbage is just playing top-notch paintball right now, and you can see as soon as he realized that first guy wasn't shooting at him and the other guy was zoned up that way, he's off to the races. You can see the smoke and the condensation coming out of the tip of his barrel as he's putting 4 or 5 balls on that player, and then Moore pulls off that one-on-one snapshot.
Wow, Moore, what a shot right there. What a move by Cabbage. So now with 2:49 left to go in this game, Temple gonna take a 3-2 lead. There's Isgro up in that 50, getting that kill on the Dorito side corner, but then getting shot, trading bodies that entire game. One body drop for UConn, one body drops for Temple, and back and forth until a final one-on-one where Moore steps up big for Temple and giving them the lead here. Let's see how both of these teams play.
Wow, 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go, 1-point lead for Temple. Amy, what do you got for us down there in the pits?
Yeah, guys, before they were seeming a little rattled over here. Now they're communicating very well. Connor Tluck just gathered everyone around and said, guys, calm down. This is still our game. And then you got Spencer Stack over here pounding his chest and screaming, I hate to lose. So they're staying focused. They're now communicating well. Let's see what it does for them on this next point, guys.
Well, mental tenacity is so important in the sport. You hear us say it all the time because it's true. You have to stay focused regardless of what the situations that are put in front of you here. So UConn's situation in front of them, well, they have 2 minutes and 49 seconds to try to score a point to tie it up, or it's going to be Temple advancing to the final. Tense moments here as this game starts to close out. On the breakout for UConn. Looks like they keep 5 bodies alive. Temple more aggressive for them. Starting to push towards the snake side. Here goes Isgro. Big move into the snake. They still haven't been able to pick him up, Todd.
Isgro gets into the 50, but Temple loses their wide guy on the Dorito side, but they are stacked up in that Temple, and Isgro goes to work, gets 2 quick kills, shoots out the same bodies that he's just been owning this whole event, shoots out the Temple, shoots out the Dorito side can, and quickly makes it a 4-on-2 now in favor of Temple. So Temple, they don't have to go anywhere. If they're smart, they'll sit in their bunkers, stay alive, and I think that's what Isgro's telling his teammates right now. Bielman coming out of that snake side corner, no need to do that. So good move right there by Temple. Excellent job by Isgro to get into his 50 snake and just go to work. It's smart call right there by UConn to blow that horn and try and preserve the time because their 2 were not going into the 4.
Isgro has just been master blasting people out of that 50-yard line snake. I mean, his kill count has got to be, I don't know what to say, I'd say around about 40 for so far on this weekend. I mean, I've personally seen him shoot at least 20, 30 guys on this field because every time he gets into the snake, he's just chalking kills up across the field, man. Doing so good job, such a good job. So let's check out this move here. And there, you see all the way off the break, that's Isgro. Digs in, keeps his back just low enough to stay tight into that bunker. He knows his shots. He immediately wraps around and catches UConn sleeping. Look at UConn, way out of their bunkers. They have no idea that he's there. Gets 1, gets 2, and that's just been him punching his card and just doing work in there, Todd.
Isgro all day yesterday, all day the day before that.
And he hasn't even let up, man. They got to stop him. When you're playing a team like, look, Temple's deep. They have Moore's playing great, Bielman's playing great, but when you had a guy like Isgro on a layout like this, looks like a timeout has been called by UConn. That's smart. So when you got a guy like Isgro who is just going into the breach time and time again, chalking up kills across the field, you have to contend with him. Put 2 guns on him, make something happen. Put another guy in the snake, go stab him out of there. Hasn't happened yet. So now 2-point lead, 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go. We'll be right back after this. So welcome back here, 2014 National Collegiate Paintball Championships, and Temple just a little bit better than UConn right now. 2 minutes and 6 seconds remain. We're about 35 seconds away from the start of this next point. Todd, with 2 points to score in 2 minutes, how important is that center of the field?
It's super important. I mean, and when Sheehan went up there, that was the only way that they were able to slow down Isgro. We saw Boothby yesterday from Fresno State late in the game just charging up to that little Temple when Moore ended up winning that one-on-one out of. So, I mean, but, you know, with Bielman running out to this snake side corner every game, running and shooting, you know, it's tough, but, you know, there are a couple different lanes that you can take and get up there. If I'm UConn, I'm definitely going to go try and slow down Isgro from getting up.
Well, UConn only has 2 options: shoot a bunch of players off the break or punch up the center. And right now they went with the heavy guns off the break option, but they lost a body.
But they shoot 3 and get a minor.
That might be
so
major.
Isgro's going to get pulled. Just 1 body left alive. That's Moore, and he's going to get pinched out. So UConn needing to get a quick point. That one was pretty quick.
Well, hey, when you need to score a quick point, like I just said, you got 2 options. You go 5 guns up off the break and hope that you shoot a bunch of bodies, or you punch up the center and still go up with some guns. They chose the heavy gun option, and Todd had paid dividends for him.
Yeah, it definitely did. You know, they shot Bielman coming out here the snake side corner. They know Bielman's going to go there. You know, he's been riding and dying. He's been making it most of the time. But, you know, here's Isgro making that move. He gets into the snake, but right now a minor penalty is being pulled on the Dorito side, and the referee comes running over and pulls him out. So here was that body out of the snake for Temple, who got or out of the Dorito side, who got shot, and then Moore was the last body alive, and he had to wear it in the back as UConn pressed up the Dorito side. And there you see Stingle running that flag in for UConn, trying to save as much time as possible. So.
What a great matchup, man. This is an awesome game here in the semis. We got another great game coming at you next after this matchup, as it's going to be FAU taking on Central Florida. So those guys are very familiar with each other. This is their home field, and that's going to be a battle too.
Yeah, can't wait to see that. I wonder if those guys ever imagined that they were going to meet each other, you know, in the semifinals. You know, this is the home field for both of these teams.
It's Daughtry and his boys against Madrid and his boys.
Yeah.
You know, Daughtry played great for Central Florida yesterday. Central Florida, they had a pretty amazing game against West Point, where they beat them up pretty solid. And then FAU, you know, they've just been gutsy. You know, they played a really good game against Kennesaw State, so to make it in here to the semifinals. So that game's coming at you next, as we're slowly starting to find out who is going to be playing that championship game May 17th. It's going to be on CBS Sports Network at noon Eastern time. Also, man, don't forget about the next PSP event. Mid-Atlantic Open is going to be coming at you May 2nd through the 4th, and help us help the sport, man. Paintball Access trying to take things to the next level.
So running and gunning heavy out to the Dorito side goes UConn.
Oh.
And again, shooting bodies on the break.
Major penalty, Todd, on Temple.
Oh no, Bielman getting that major penalty, not going to be good, as UConn has the bodies, and all 5 bodies and the field position, and players just dying out of the back for Temple. Only 1 left in that Dorito side corner. Here comes UConn on the offensive. Spencer Stack coming into that Dorito and gonna grab the flag and run it in again. Stingle. So with just under a minute left to go, UConn storming back into this game, scoring 2 points in a row in very deliberate fashion.
Well, bad news for Temple fans is that major penalty is going to put Temple down a body. So UConn not only did they just tie the game up, as you're watching some awesome play for them here in this replay, but now they are going to be on the power play. Only 57 seconds left, though, Todd, in this matchup. We might see a sudden death overtime.
Yeah, could see a sudden death overtime, or we could possibly see UConn just keep charging right on through here. I mean, they
got
are
the momentum.
lacing bodies off that Dorito side right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they said or what clicked in their minds, but all of a sudden they're off the break shots on that D side of the field. That Dorito side has just been dominant the past 2 points. That's the reason that this game is tied up right now.
Well, you know, man, we've been talking about this. You know, teams that are playing this field fearless, just running and gunning. That last point, UConn went running and gunning, out to that small Dorito in the yellow zone, running and gunning out to the can, running and gunning up the center of the field, and just chopping bodies up all over the place for Temple. Temple, you know, you got to fight fire with fire out there. You know, it looked like they kind of started pulling up bodies off that side to try and get bodies out alive. Sometimes that's the right move. Sometimes the right move is just to match fire with fire. Send 3 more bodies right back at them, running and gunning, and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, another thing, too, is that Temple can refocus their minds right now and get that off-the-break shot. You know, the off-the-break shot, you see these guys, when they line up at that start gate, as soon as that horn blows, they whip their gun around as fast as they can. So that whip, that where you're going from gun down and into the shooting position as you're starting to run, a lot of training goes into that, but a lot of it comes down to you focusing on where that shot's going to go, not necessarily the mechanics. The mechanics should be something you've already trained enough. You're not necessarily thinking about that. But Temple, if they can shoot a body off the break for UConn, even it up, then they might be able to, you know, then start a little push of their own, maybe score a point here in 55 seconds. We'll see.
Temple's going to try and get out to that Dorito side corner. They do, but they lose 2 bodies on the break. One going up to that center tower, and Isgro shoots and tries to bump out to that snake side corner. He's not going to make it. 40 seconds left on the clock. Only 1 body left alive for Temple. Temple needs to blow the horn right now and not let time tick away.
Yeah, they got to blow the horn. Just blow the horn. Wow, UConn pumped up right now. Look at the body language there. UConn, fists in the air. They got to be careful. They haven't won the game yet. Still 30 seconds left, but they should be proud of themselves. They were down 2, Todd, scoring 3 unanswered, put 5 on the board. Now they're up 1, 30 seconds to go in this match. They're looking real strong.
Yeah, I mean, after Temple goes and scores those 2 points and gets a 2-point lead, UConn with 3 unanswered points and only 30 seconds left to go. Maddie, don't be perfect, be clutch. You know, you don't start off, you know, how you are. You get down, can never lose confidence. You got to fight back, and that's exactly what UConn has done.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Don't be perfect, be clutch. That's a paintball cliche for a reason, because of games like this, you're seeing it happen before your eyes. UConn, they went down early on. They were yelling at each other in the pits, and we had Amy down there. She had said, look, these guys are refocusing. They're ready to go. Sure enough, boom, they come back, mount that comeback, and now they're going to be up 1 here with 30 seconds to go in the game. What an awesome semifinal matchup. And again, the next semifinal matchup coming up after this match is going to be Florida Atlantic University taking on Central Florida. So, and those guys very familiar with each other. They practice each other. You know, this is their home field. So regardless, it's going to be cool to see one of the teams whose home field they play here at Central Florida, paintball, is going to be moving into the final, regardless of whether it's FAU or Central Florida.
And, you know, if this game stays how it is with Temple, they're going to have a guy in that box still on that major. If UConn can close out this game, UConn's going to punch their ticket to the finals. You know, definitely on the plate of Sheehan, Stack, Stingle. Went out here just doing work right now for UConn. See if UConn just goes running and gunning out to that Dorito side again.
4 bodies on the field right now for Temple as they play a pretty hyper-aggressive game plan. They sent 2 up the center, not able to get anybody alive, though, in that center. They still have 2 players, and that's pretty much going to do it, Todd. Another body gets peeled off, taking the walk from that D side, and it looks like it is going to be the University of Connecticut Huskies moving on to the final matchup here in this come-from-behind victory. What an amazing comeback, and I think it's appropriate, Todd, that the last player left alive as the pit explodes for UConn. Last player left alive at taking the slow walk off for Temple was Francis Isgro, who played amazing, phenomenal work for him all tournament long, but it just wasn't enough in the end.
Yeah, I mean, UConn, they had a balanced attack across the field. You know, we saw Temple, you know, if Isgro wasn't getting into that snake and shooting 3 guys, then, you know, they really didn't have, you know, a really solid attack over there on Dorito side. You know, Isgro's really opened up the games from this 50 Dorito, but, I mean, UConn just did a better job of making adjustments, just like they were talking about themselves. You know, making adjustments, coming out to that Dorito side, getting kills, pushing all sides of the field. So I think UConn recognized that, you know, they had a little bit of a power play over there on that Dorito side, stacking bodies and guns, and, you know, really took advantage of it.
Well, UConn, such a storied program here in the NCPA, and it looks like finally they have built their program up to get back into the finals. Well, let's check in with Amy Campbell. She is with the victors down on the sidelines.
That's right, guys. I'm here with Spencer Stack, breathing heavily over here. A close-fought battle, come from behind win for you. How do you feel about this?
I feel ecstatic right now. I can't be more proud of my team. We adjusted, did what we had to do. They were killing us up the middle. Left some guys delaying, chopped them up, made our moves. Just smart paintball overall. Couldn't be prouder.
You guys started to get a little frazzled there, really rallied. How much mental toughness went into this win?
Oh, extreme amount, extreme amount. This heat, we're really good friends with them too, so we wanted this more than anything. I'm sure they'll be helping us out after this. Just staying smart, staying strong, coming out swinging.
You're headed to the finals. How do you feel?
I feel awesome.
Awesome. He feels awesome. Congratulations, guys. Guys.
Yeah, he should feel awesome because Spencer Stack played huge for UConn in this game over here.
Todd, lots of guys, I totally agree with you, but lots of guys stepped up. Miles Anderson wins a one-on-one earlier on in the event. That was huge. And then had that huge 8-minute-long one-on-one out here. John Stingle handled business. Spencer Stack, we just saw a little interview with him. Alex Tluck's handling business on this snake side. He was basically the guy that had to try to get in there and try to handle Isgro, and he definitely bared that weight. And then William Sheenan, what a team effort from UConn.
Yeah, I mean, UConn all over the field, from their Dorito players, their snake players, up the middle smart, their ones, their twos, their fillers, hats off to Temple for the way that they fought out here. But, man, UConn does just a little too much at the end of the game, closing out points and making that comeback, 3 unanswered points, and just, punching their ticket to the finals.
What I love, when we're talking about favorites, who's going to win, who do we think has the best chance, when you see a team, iron sharpens iron. When you see a team like UConn go up against a hardcore team like Temple who really, really wants it, and then to see them prevail and come from behind victory, we'll see how the next semifinal matchup plays out. But, UConn, that was a gutsy performance from them. I think they got a chance. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with more action here from the 2014 National Collegiate Paintball Championships. Stick around.